Thank you, the organizers, having it was a very informative, slides. My questions are, as a builder, how much does this EIP affect the builder side, or is it more a provider side change to ecosystem?
Both. I mean, would change both, right? But specifically on what happens to the builder's bottom line, right? Could be a question. I'd say so like very simply speaking, kind of like the total MEV would be reduced by the amount of front running, right? So the pie would kind of like in the first place get a little smaller to distribute, right? Again, I think there is a way to make it such that the same backrunning efficiency and same way to backrun can be applied. So in our view, it would be only the front running that would disappear, or the front running type of MEV. So, and then you can make the argument for builders and searchers and validators. Usually that gets split up, right? You have some amount of MEV, and that gets kind of like distributed between the searcher who found the opportunity, the builder, and the proposer. And then maybe even some of it gets paid back to the user, depending on yeah. But so I think arguably the pie gets smaller by the amount of front running. So you could argue the income for builders would shrink slightly, yeah, which I think is a fair argument. That's probably not good for builders, right? It's not good for their income. However, I would say a couple of things. That one is, I think everyone kind of agrees that front running isn't like a very sustainable way to sort of make money. Again, we've seen it is even illegal in the real world. Might become. We've seen even comments from regulators that they see MEV and front running in crypto similarly to front running in the real world. And there might be even like ideas to regulate it. Number two, it scares away users, right? So it's just not like. You see it with rollups, right? Rollups are definitely not front running the users. Or kind of like trustworthy rollups like Optimism or Arbitrum they can front run their users. They could. They are also just choosing not to, right? Because they know it's just extremely bad for adoption, right? So I would say everyone agrees front running will go away, or is already been going away. It's just a question of how exactly does it go away, and who and how are we just eliminating it by now? We're trusting someone not to front run, or are we kind of fixing it on the lower level? Hopefully that answers the question. Or
Thank you, Luis. I really liked your answer actually, because the second question of mine was about MEV. So are you saying that it essentially disappears?
And yeah, no. So I try to explain that basically, I would say we roughly separate between front running and back running. Front running is the one where you jump in front of someone, and back running is the one that your trade does something, changes the price of an asset, and that let's say dislodges the price to a certain degree, and now you have a 1% difference of the price to maybe a price on another DEX, which is maybe more true to the true market price. So that creates this 1% arbitrage opportunity. So backrunning means you attach yourself directly afterwards and exploit that, right? So front running can be basically solved by this encrypted mempool approach. Backrunning cannot, or not reasonably, and that's actually not a bad thing in some ways, right? Because backrunning people actually even either they tolerate it as an okay thing, or they would even say it's a good thing because arbitrage kind of makes prices be better across DEXs, and if you pay back the arbitrage profit to the user, that even gets him a better price as well. So we would expect that just the front running profit, just the front running MEV disappears or gets shrunk by a lot, and the back running MEV remains. And again, as I said before, I think that the front running, that's I would say in general the consensus that front running is not a sustainable way to earn income. Even Flashbots or other kind of people who are deeply into MEV, the systems how they set it up are already kind of like set up in a way that that they're choosing kind of based on trust, not to front run.
So you're as I understand, you're basically saying that you can still see the trend of MEV, but in the past, not in right now with front running.
Yeah, I would say the front running will go away anyway, right? And back running MEV will remain because that's just arbitrage, right? In the real world, there is no MEV. In the real world, you just have trading and arbitrage and front running. And front running is illegal and stupid. And and kind of trading and arbitrage still exists, and that's good because arbitrage means you're exploiting all the little inefficiencies. Yeah, so I think that's the same level you could just think about in crypto as well. Front running is cheating, like you're jumping the queue, right? And back running and arbitrage is just trading, and you're just just means somebody is exploiting arbitrage opportunities, and it's actually positive.